Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Everyone close your eyes. And I want you to think of another person. The first person that comes to your mind, keep them in your heart. And now pray for them. Pray for them to be nirbhayatva and arogata, which means courageous and healthy. Nirbhayatva arogata. The Bhagavad Gita is a subjective map to rediscover that you are great. And after you rediscover this, the evolution of this is that you are the greatest. A synonym for the greatest is God. So what is the Bhagavad Gita? The Bhagavad Gita is a subjective map for you to rediscover you are God. When we approach the Bhagavad Gita instinctively, another word for that, thoughtlessly, then this subjective map becomes objective. Then what do we do with this? We start to act like a scholar towards this map. We compare commentaries, we compare questions. Then Bhagavad Gita becomes purposeless. Think of this in a strict way. If the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to rediscover you are God, if you're using this for any other purpose, then that's purposeless, no? There is one path from goodness to greatness to the greatest. That path is described as yoga. The beginning of this path, Vishada Yoga. This was the theme of chapter 1. The end of this path, Sankhya Yoga. That's the teachings of chapter 2. The beginnings is where we find ourselves. The ends is where we want to find ourselves. What's in between? Chapters 3 through 18. The first part of this path from the beginning, Karma Yoga, that is chapter 3. Then Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, chapter 4. Then Karma Sannyasa Yoga, chapter 5. Each of these paths, and I said it wrongly, each of the sections of this path is more demanding. That's how one grows from being good to great, great to the greatest. Within chapter 5, I recently shared with you the Gauna Lakshana of Sannyasa, which I shared, the secondary pointer of renunciate. Though lakshana does mean pointer, in a subjective sense, it means practice. The secondary practice we are to engage in. Secondary means because we're not ready for the primary. The secondary practice is to renounce our experiences. Typically, they're described as aversion and attraction. The primary practice is to renounce the ego. For those who are reflecting on this, we want more steps. We want more lakshanas, more practices. So here is one more, not coming from Bhagavad Gita. In Srimad Bhagavatam, which also revolves around Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna's father's name is Vasudeva, which is why Sri Krishna's name, another name of his, is Vasudeva. And Sri Krishna's father asks all of these rishis, those who know Sri Krishna is the greatest, he asks them, I only know Sri Krishna to be my son. There's a biological relationship. Help me to know what you know. Help me to know that he is the greatest. And what the rishis teach Sri Vasudeva is all that you do, you should feel is an offering to him. In Sanskrit, the word is arpana. Arpana buddhi, this feeling that everything you do, from the most, I can't think of the word, but insignificant, like tying your shoes, to the most significant, hiring someone, firing someone, feel that you are offering this to him. That helps one to feel that one is an instrument. I have to renounce my experiences. Imagine that's practice 2.0. I have to renounce my ego. That's practice 1.0, but I need a 1.5. So I have to renounce my equipments. How? Starting to feel that I don't own these equipments. I'm borrowing them to use them for the divine. Shri Krishna is still investing in ensuring that we are clear about the evolution of chapter 3, 4, 5. There's divinity in these details. We're on verse 6. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena digacchati. First quarter. Mahabaho. He's calling Prince Arjuna great. But your evolution is to be the greatest. Sannyasa. And that's all that's shared here. There's a comparison being given. I want us to be clear about what sannyasa is. One way to open up this word, sam means to know, and nyasa, what you are not. So sannyasa, to know what you are not. If this is clear, another way to open up this word, sam means fully, ni means down, and asa means to throw. To throw down fully. The idea being is whatever you know you're not, throw this down fully. Now we've been taught, and we see this, that sannyasa is external. Sannyasa is not external, it is internal. Why? Where do you think likes and dislikes are? Are they built into cupcakes? Are they built into the rising sun? It's in you. What about the equipments? If I say, renounce your equipments, are you going to give up your eyes? Give up your sense of hearing? And you're telling me that the ego is external. That is the ego that makes us feel that the ego is external. All of this is internal. So this throwing down fully, this renunciation has to be internal. Not a ritual, but to be lived in every experience, with every equipment, through the ego. A practical way to start on this is to renounce articles. I'm not telling you that you have to throw them down fully. I'm sharing with you is invest less in articles. Go from being a materialist to having materials. That is so different. Dukkham aptum ayogataha. To be able to practice sannyasa, dukkham is difficult. Aptum, you cannot do this if ayogataha, if one is not practicing yoga. Share differently, if you're not practicing chapter 3, you cannot tune into chapter 4, which means you cannot tune into chapter 5. The logic of all of this, yoga is that which integrates. If you integrate yourself, you will know this because you start to feel more quiet. When a car is disintegrating, it's louder, correct? A new car is highly integrated. The shock absorbers, the tire, the engine, so it's quiet. Yes? Now visualize that for yourself. Only if you're quiet can you feel peace. But if I've not nurtured this quietude, how can I feel peace? It's just a theory then. If we're not nurturing this quietude, how? Yoga. Sharing it in a different way for those who are more in tune with Sanskrit. Antakarana Shuddha precedes Jnana Pramana. In other words, if there's no purity, there cannot be clarity. Practice is what Shri Krishna is sharing. Live this. Yoga yukto munir brahma. The one who is integrated because of yoga. What are they thinking about? Brahma. But how did this all happen? Because they're munis. How many of you are munis? Here's where everyone's supposed to have their hand up, okay? I just told you it's internal. My last name is not Muni either. That doesn't mean that I'm not. A Muni is one who engages in mauna. Mauna Shilavan iti Muni. Mauna means someone who is an introvert. They're disciplined with being an introvert. And while they're inward looking, what are they doing? Manana Shilavan iti Muni. A Muni is one who has strong practices in Mauna and Manana. In their introversion, what do? They are reflecting on their nature, divinity, infinity. What happens then? Na achirena adigacchati. Adigacchati means to go. In a subjective science, it means to know with a K. Chirena means postpone. Na achirena, there's no postponement. So the one who is practicing karma yoga, and that keeps on evolving, they immediately know who they are. They rediscover joy. In an earlier chapter, the word was achirena, and I shared it means in no time. Here, Sri Krishna is sharing the same, na chirena. There's no postponement. When do you all want to be happy? With no postponement. One final reflective thought. How do you know? We always want these tests, these gauges, these indicators. How do you know that you're living by karma yoga, jnana karma sannyasa yoga, karma sannyasa yoga? Happy equals immunity. Think about that. Happy is equivalent to immunity. Immunity means you're not affected. Right now, Sheila and Shuka took a rapid test for COVID because Shuka was exposed to someone in his school who has COVID. And if their immunity is strong enough, they will not be affected by this virus. Yes? What are you not affected by? It starts with your experiences. It deepens to your equipment and deepens to your ego. I'm not affected by my experiences. If today works out well, fine. And if today doesn't work out well, fine. If my knees hurt, my back hurts, fine. Those are equipments. If my ego is insulted, is defeated, fine. I know who I am. I know who I am not. That is sannyasa. From inspiration to application. A recent application of yours was to be part of our Prithvi Seva Sangha. Sangha means community. And I got to read a lot of your reflections, too many for me to share my observations on. One practice that we're trying to incorporate in this home is our HVAC system is very harmful for the environment. What heats and cools this home, and not just this home, your home too. So instead of trying to heat and cool your entire space, just heat and cool yourself. Wear more layers, wear less layers. Does it require so much effort? But if all of us, imagine all 300 seekers in Meaningful Mornings practice this, there would be a significant benefit to our earth. Now share this with your family and friends too. All of us can do this. Another application of yours was for you to rate how judgmental or non-judgmental you are. Does anyone want to share their score? 1, extremely judgmental, 100, extremely non-judgmental. 30, 25, 60. Oh, these are pretty low scores. Think about this in a different way. The more judgmental you are, the less like Arjuna you are. Arjuna is the one who is open, honest. Who got taught? Arjuna. Who didn't get taught? Everyone else. If you are low on this scale, work on it. Your application for this morning. You may not have realized, but we've completed 210 verses of Bhagavad Gita. 30% is now complete. I want you to visualize that if you're not enlightened in this lifetime and that you are to be born again, what 3 wishes would you ask for in your next lifetime? What would you want in your next lifetime? 3. Reflect on that. Share on our website. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene. be happiness.